All right, welcome back to another one of my interview series. Today I'm joined with a under 80 kilo athlete. He made top 10 this year, Jonas. Now, Jonas, you're gonna have to pronounce your last name for me.
It's Bertschinger.
Jonas
Jonas Bertschinger.
Jonas Bertschinger. It's a pleasure to have you on, buddy.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, sir. Now, Jonas and I, we just got back from OSG, just 2, 3 weeks ago now. And Jonas, you made top 10 this year. That's the first time you've ever made the finals. Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, that was awesome, buddy. You came in. Now, you competed, you told me last year as well, right?
Exactly. Last year was my first year,
Yep.
2023, and I placed 16th, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. So that was your first year there, placed 16th. And overall, well, we can go so many different directions with this, but this year, did you like the contest better this year than last year?
I think the main difference for me was the format that we did the two events right after each
Gotcha.
other. Yeah,
Gotcha.
and that was a really big plus for me because last year I really struggled with eating, getting fluids in, getting food
Mm,
in between the events and the long
yep.
waiting times. And as soon as it got to the second event of the day, my performance I didn't feel too good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but this year was much better. Just get the two events done, and then it's
Yes.
over with. Yeah.
Did you like on day one, did you like the just having the log instead of like, last year for the press, it was a press medley. Do you prefer just something straightforward, simple, heavy log was what you can do, go for it?
I did. I think on overhead was my biggest improvement this year compared to last year. Last year I
Sure.
placed 18th, and this year joined 7th, I believe. And yeah, I mean, if you have an implement that you just got to do for reps, it's much more straightforward and more
Sure.
predictable. Also,
Sure.
the medley, there's so many things that can go wrong. You can rush it. You can. Those are the differences. There's no ties. You
Yeah.
can lose so many spots in just 3 seconds, especially with
Yep.
so many athletes.
Yep. Yep.
So
I
yeah,
I agree 100%. And we can get into a whole bunch of other stuff as we get going, but I have to bring up you with your log press when you were gutting out that third rep and it didn't quite happen. Tell them what happened on
yeah.
that deal.
Well, I really wanted that third rep, of
Yeah.
course, and I kind of do the log press with a push press where
Mhm.
I lean back a little or a little much, and, and on that third one, I really uh, did it more than I could handle. Especially my balance was off
Yeah.
because maybe it's nerves, maybe it's I don't know, it's a different log than I'm used to, whatever. But I was shaky the first two reps, but on the third one, yeah, I got too far back and then dropped the log on myself
And
pretty much. Yeah.
yeah, and when that
Yeah.
happened, I think I was lined up to go right after you. And when you did that, you dropped it. It looked like it landed on your head. That's what it looked like. It looked like it basically hit your chest and rolled over your head and everything else. Or maybe fell and hit I can't remember, but I mean, your head looked like it got cracked in it. And we're like, when they pulled you up and you were fine, you're like, I'm fine, I'm fine. We're all like, oh boy, there was a guy, he was coaching an athlete. He said to us, he's like, don't think about it, boys. Just go do what you got to do. Don't think about that one. it, looked,
Yeah.
it looked pretty good, but you got up and you were fine.
Yeah, I think I just got really lucky there because I think the log hit the floor on one side first and then hit kind of my chest, and then I just got to push it off. But
Hmm.
yeah, it didn't feel too bad. Of course, I felt some impact in my chest area, but there was almost no bruising, and yeah, I got pretty lucky there.
That's that's great. You did well.
Yeah.
Obviously, it didn't affect you because you
Mm.
went on and you made it into the finals, which was absolutely awesome to see. I did want to ask you. You look really, really strong with that log. 280 is obviously nowhere near your best. What had you been hitting in training, and what is kind of your best log to date?
Honestly, my best training lift on the log is just 3 kilos above this trump log weight.
Really?
Yeah, I've hit
Wow.
130 for a single, I think 4 weeks out or three and
Yes.
a half weeks out from the comp. Yeah. And that's it. On that day, probably wasn't my absolute max, but I usually do better when I in competition on static events because of that adrenaline and the hype that I sometimes struggle to get in training.
Mhm.
So yeah, my
So
best log was just 130.
so you really perform. When you come to a show, you really just perform, because if that's only 3 kilograms more than your best and you hit it, you almost hit it for 3 repetitions. So, I mean, that's really you really peaked perfectly for that.
Yeah, mostly with static events, that's true that I can more or less rely on doing what I at least replicate what I did in training, if not
Sure,
top that in competition
sure,
mostly. Yeah.
sure. Okay, well, I could just go on and on for this for a while, but I do these interviews to kinda get guys' stories and hear where they started from, so it would be doing you a disservice if we didn't do that. So, starting off kinda your younger life, did you grow up, always playing sports, not playing sports, or did you have any siblings that you got a competitive edge from, or where did that kinda start with you?
Um, it was pretty standard stuff for a kid in Switzerland, honestly, and that's like I think every kid was once playing soccer here in Switzerland. It's our biggest sport. I think I just can you still hear me? Oh
I
yeah,
can
yeah.
hear you.
Your
You good?
picture was reloading. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Okay, fine.
sorry.
So yeah, I started off doing some soccer, and of course, second biggest sport in Switzerland is skiing.
Mhm.
Like we're known for skiing and snowboarding, of course, in the Alps. Over here, I did that, but not competitively. And maybe so, but soccer was also not too big a deal. I wasn't particularly talented or good at it. I just went to training once or twice a week with my friends.
Mhm.
And then I think when I was 11, 12 years old, I switched to tennis, played some
Okay.
tennis for 4 or 5 years. Also nothing too. I did some small competitions, but I just went to training once a week, maybe twice for a year, and then once again. Like
Okay.
nothing special. Yeah.
Sure. And, okay, so going on with your sporting background, you kinda just played you just did kinda what was around you, what everybody did. You didn't have anything really particular that you just grasped onto, you just kinda did what you guys had.
Yeah, exactly. You could say that. Yeah.
Okay. And, going on through that, um, when did you first, start lifting weights?
Um, I think I was 17,
And
just turned 17. Yeah.
what brought that on?
Well, I stopped playing tennis when I was
Okay.
like 15, something like that. And I just wanted some sport to
Mhm,
continue because I always felt that it made me feel good with sports besides school.
mhm,
And I didn't think I'd get into lifting that much. It's just something I was kind of a skinny kid, not too much, nothing special, but I'm like 5'7", I think it's in your units, and maybe one I was maybe 135, something like
Oh,
that.
wow. Wow,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Well, same height like now, but maybe like 135. So yeah, 135 at 16, 17. Yeah,
And so
and
you just wanted to get into a sporting background, or sorry, you just wanted to continue doing something like that because you like sports, so you started lifting weights. And how did that happen? What did you do? You just decided to go to gym? Did somebody, introduce you to it, or what was up with that?
mm, there's not really one that introduced me. There was a small gym at my high school. It
Okay.
was like very, very minimal with some machines, maybe a bench, a squat rack, but weights not going higher than 330 pounds or something like that.
Mhm.
That's all we had there. But I just signed up, and it was easily accessible, of course, because it was in school. I could go there in my breaks and join a bit. But yeah, that's how I started at 17.
And when you started, did you immediately like, "Man, this is it." You really enjoyed it? Or did you get that bite from it right then, or did that come later on from doing it?
Um, I had to say it slowly developed. I
Okay.
really enjoyed it from the start, but I quickly switched to a kind of a powerlifting training
Yep.
style.
Yep.
But of course, then I just did whatever. I searched a bit up on YouTube and copied this and that of someone who I liked. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it was just standard stuff. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just having
Yeah.
fun. And when I started, I didn't really show any particular talent in it. Like,
Okay.
it wasn't special from anyone else. I didn't start with like a 220 bench from zero, or I was just like anybody else over there. It's nothing special,
Mm.
but I kind of adapted much better than most of the guys around me, I have to
And
say.
what do you mean, adapted much better? You starting off kind of the same, but do you just mean you progressed faster, you got better quicker, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Got you.
Like
Okay.
we all had this similar starting points. Like with my friends, of course, those who were a little chubbier were a little stronger first, and the other
Mhm.
skinny ones, we were all the same basically. But
Yeah.
I gained strength a little faster. Especially strength, the size only didn't really come first,
Yeah.
but I got stronger much faster than the others mostly. Yeah,
Okay. Very cool. I love to hear that. And, so you kinda got to be the strongest guy in that group pretty quickly, I guess, then.
yeah. Especially also because most of them just stopped after 3 4 months. Yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah,
helps, doesn't it?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not really a big thing over here in Switzerland,
yeah.
lifting weights and taking it seriously
Is
in
that
gym.
right?
Yeah, it's not too much, not too common. Well, now the powerlifting is getting bigger in Switzerland, but like normal gym culture is not so. The people go to the gym, but they don't take it too seriously mostly. Yeah.
Is that because of, like, what you were saying everybody else does, they go skiing and things like that? Is that because you have so many other things you could be doing? Or is that just because it's just not really there yet?
I think part of it is because there's so many other options that are just more either more accessible or also more common. People enjoy it more. Also, endurance sports people enjoy more, or winter sports in general,
Yeah, okay.
soccer stuff like that. And also that Switzerland sports doesn't have too much of a value compared to other countries.
Really?
Yeah, there's not too many people striving for a competitive sports career. Yeah,
Huh,
over here.
huh. That's
Yeah,
very interesting.
yeah. The Swiss people like to work mainly.
Well,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with
Yes.
that. That's probably why a lot of, the success that your country has had is because people have that mindset. I wish actually guys could give some of that back to some of us now. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we need more people working, but anyway, okay, so, moving on with that. So you started off doing your gym there and got stronger than everybody else fast. Did you go to powerlifting next? Did you kind of get into bodybuilding from there? I mean, you said you're stronger, but where did you go from that direction?
I actually competed in powerlifting once then.
Okay.
I just did a prep myself, small. My technique looking back was nowhere near good. Like, and also the numbers. I mean, they were not that special, but I think at around training for a year, I only gained like close to 20 pounds. It's something, but it's not too much. I think I, I
Sounds
weighed
pretty good.
I gained. Well, of course, I was starting at 135, and
Right.
probably at the end of this year, I weighed something between 150 and 155, I
Okay.
believe. And I didn't even squat 315. I squatted a little less. I think my first comp benched maybe 200, and I sumo deadlifted 420 or something like that.
Okay. There you
But
go.
yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And, when you did that contest, did you think, it was okay. I want to do, or did you feel like, man, I want to do more of this, or I don't want to do this? Where were you going from that?
um, I was really motivated But
Yeah.
I really enjoy competition. I really found my love for competing again because I enjoyed it in tennis too.
Yeah.
But I just didn't train it enough and never had it as an option to take it too seriously. And yeah, I really enjoyed competition, and I was planning to do more of that. But
Okay. So
I never really saw myself as a talented guy. I just saw myself as a guy that enjoyed it. Yeah.
you know what? I really like what you're saying there. You said you never saw yourself as a talented guy, but because you're talking about how hard work ethic people have in your country, it didn't bother you to put your head down and go work. It's like, I might
Well,
not be the
say that
best,
maybe.
but I'm going to work hard and put in the effort. I'm just going to push it. I enjoy this and I want to see where I can go. I like that. That's very respectable. After you did that first powerlifting meet, what were you, about 18, 17? Is that in the range?
Yeah, it was just about to turn 18. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And from there, did you actually go compete some more, or where did it go from there? Did you go get a job or go to college, or how did that go?
Um, well, I was close to finishing high school
Yep.
then, and I did one more competition, but it
Okay.
was deadlift only. I didn't improve from my first competition, honestly. After 4 months, yeah, no improvements.
Oh boy.
But and then after finishing high school, in Switzerland we have mandatory military service,
Okay.
and I did my 1 year in the army,
Mhm.
Swiss army, and right from there, yeah, exactly.
Okay, wow. And okay, so when you went through the military, you went and did your military for a year. Were you able to lift at all during your time in the military, or did that kinda have to stop?
It had to stop, yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you spend 6 days a week there running around, not much
Yeah.
lifting, yeah,
There's not too much lifting when they got you running, is there?
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Um, so you only had to do, but that's mandatory for everybody.
Yeah, well, you can pay some additional taxes to not do the actual military service. You can do some, what's it called, charity work,
Okay.
or like work with elderly people as as another option if you really don't want to do the service. But
Yeah.
generally, for everyone with a Swiss passport, it's mandatory. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that is a great, um I think that's great that they require that in your country. I think that helps, keep your patriotism higher. I think it puts people in, I don't know, it's just a real reality check. It puts your patriotism higher, but then even if, like you said, if you can get out of it, you still have to go help. You have to go help some elderly people or do something for somebody else. I think that's really good. I wish they'd do that in my country now too. I think it would change a lot of people's, outlook on some things.
Yeah, I like it too. But of course, at that age, 18, 19,
You didn't
all the
like it.
guys were, oh, fuck that. It
Yeah.
sucks. But yeah,
Looking back, you can see the value of it.
yeah, I wasn't too sad that I had to do it also at that moment. But
Mhm.
looking back, I value it even more. Yeah,
Yep.
that
Yep,
that
that's
I
it.
did it. Also
Yep,
glad I did it. Yeah.
very good. Okay, so after you got out of the service, did you did you, go straight trying to compete and do more things of that nature? I mean, I'm sure at that point too, you're trying to push to, work or do some other things like that, but where did your direction go from there?
Um, I was actually quite lucky then because during the army, I really read into like the theories for the first
Mhm,
time, how you should train, how everything works, how it works with the diet. I did before. I didn't check my diet at all. I just ate and didn't check calories, protein intake. I had no clue about it at all.
mhm.
And also training, I just kind of did what I enjoyed, maybe based off of one YouTuber. I can't even name you
Yeah.
right now. Just I just did, and I really read into training, and during my army service, and I was really hyped to start again once I'm done. And really close from me, there was a guy that opened up a new gym, just 2 villages, like 10 kilometers away from me. He opened up a new gym, and I applied there to work.
Okay.
And yeah, I got the job, and I started working there and kind of cleaning the gym and helping new members, and started training again there. Yeah,
Very good. So when you got out of the service, you went back and you actually were able to get a job in a good gym or near you.
exactly. Yeah.
And when you did that, were you helping members? Do you mean you started training people, or were you just like taking on like new memberships and stuff for the gym, or did you start training people at that time?
I just gave like beginner courses
Yep.
because I could do that. I could just show them the machines and stuff,
Hmm.
and I took on the new members and cleaned the gym and just stuff like that. Yeah,
Okay. Very good.
not like coaching or anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got to start. You got to start somewhere yourself. I mean, and build from there. Um, okay. So when you're in that gym, how long did you stay there?
Um. Well, the story kind of goes like I used to work. The guy was that opened the gym. He had lots of different other companies. He also had a security company and a cleaning company, facility services, and I ended up working in all three of his businesses. I
Okay.
worked security at the weekends and also helped with his cleaning until I started my studies later.
Okay.
And then when I started my studies, I was still working in the gym in the evenings, of course, aside from training. But then 2 years later, he decided he doesn't want the gym anymore, and I could buy it off of him for a really good price. And now it's my gym. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. It was
Well, that's an awesome story.
yeah. I got really lucky there.
Really? Wow. So you're a gym owner.
Exactly. Yeah, I own a small
Wow.
commercial gym now. Yeah.
Wow. Well, man, that's great. See, you never know. Well, that's why these stories, that's why I love doing these interviews from everybody, because you never know anybody's story. Everybody, especially at OSG at Worlds, they have put so much in to competing or trying to get better, but they always have crazy stories outside of it. They're very driven people, like Mason Cup. Mason Cup's a dentist.
Yeah, I
Um,
heard that. It's
yeah,
crazy stuff. Yeah.
Ricky's gonna be a doctor. Um, uh, who am I trying to think of? Well, I don't know, but Dylan Thompson, he's just opened up a gym. I don't know if you saw that or not,
Oh
which
yeah,
he's
I
had.
saw that.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
he's had a smaller he had a gym for a good while, but he was just training people out. But this is officially his gym. But that's really cool, Jonas. I love to hear that. That's great.
Well, thank you very much.
And you got that gym. At what age did that come about for you?
At 22. Was 22 then. Yeah,
How old are
exactly.
you now?
I just recently turned 24, beginning of December. Yeah.
You're young.
Yeah. I
You're
could say
really
so.
young.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'm 27.
Well, you're young too, of
Yeah,
course.
but yeah,
Yeah.
but it's just funny. It's just funny. You're 3 years younger than me, and that's really awesome. So you got your gym at 22. I'm sure that right there is major. In being able to have everything you need to train and get better as well. I mean, it's not like you have to worry about. I wish everybody kind of has that. If you're at Worlds, you at least have your own personalized, so you don't miss training days. But that's probably comes in pretty handy for you.
Oh yeah, it's great. Also, of course, having the facility and kind of buying stuff that I need, and yeah, it's great. I must say I just do it on the side. My first studies I started after army service. I actually canceled this one because it wasn't too right for me. Now then I worked some time in construction. I did gardening, landscaping, hardscaping stuff, and now I'm also studying in that kind of direction. So I'm
So
just having the gym on the side. I go there in the evenings. If I'm not training, I'm cleaning and doing the membership stuff. And yeah, but mainly I'm studying right now, I could say.
okay. So you're studying right now to go do like more being a builder and then landscaping, is that what you said?
Landscape, but architecture, yeah. Like
Okay.
architecture for the outside, yeah.
So you
Outside
so you'll
design.
so you're trying to get into doing some like really big patio pieces and nice stuff for people.
Yeah.
Very cool. I tell you what, you guys are a different breed of people, hardworking and getting stuff. I mean, that's great. You've already got a gym, and then you're doing your studies, and you're going to do something else, and you're top 10 in the world now. You guys are just working people. Which I don't wanna I don't wanna
Yeah.
I don't wanna just make you ordinary at all because, there's other people in your country that don't value the sports like you said, like you do, and, they're not top 10 in the world either, so I'm gonna give you that prop. You're doing that other stuff and you're top 10 in the world, so that,
Well, thank you.
that's a little different. Okay,
Well, thanks.
so you got the gym, you did your okay, we gotta keep this in track here, so you went in the service, you did your first pilots meet, then you went in the military. After the military, um, I can't remember. Did you say you did any more contests after that or not?
No, I didn't. I just got back into training,
Okay.
working at that gym, and then
Yep.
starting my first studies, all while
Yeah.
still working at the gym, but just
Okay.
in the evenings. It was just never a main thing.
Okay.
Either during the week, I was either working, well, first in the studies that I canceled
Mhm.
a year later, and after that, I was working in construction mainly.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so from there, when did you get into strongman? How did that come about?
Well, firstly, I started training powerlifting style again.
Yeah?
Was like with some more intelligent, still programming myself, but kind of more intelligently. And I didn't track calories then, but I understood about the intake and could guess the amount I'm taking, guess my calorie intake that I approximately should reach
Mhm.
by the end of the day. And I made progress really quickly again after the army. I was really happy about that. I also
Mhm.
gained weight a little easier. I went from that, but and I think I went from 150 to 170 in like half in 6 months. I think, yeah, and also my numbers in squat, bench, and deadlift went up to like nothing crazy, but they went up a good
Mhm.
amount. And there was actually a friend who introduced me to some strongman workshops, like a
Mhm.
guy in Switzerland.
Mhm.
He used to do some workshops on Sundays where you could test some strongman equipment. But I didn't know then that was actually before the army service.
Okay.
I was really young. Yeah, that was my first exposure to strongman equipment.
Okay.
I was younger with a friend who he used to train strongman a bit. He's long stopped now, but he used to train a bit, and he introduced me to those workshops. And I didn't really think that it was something for me because I didn't know about weight classes, and I was, as I said, I was like 150.
Yeah.
I thought it's just for the big guys, and I'm just
Yep.
doing it for fun.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's kinda what a lot of, when it started off, it was that way, with everybody with, seeing Zadrunas and Brian Shaw on TV, it's kinda like you're never gonna be a 6'8" or 6'4", 420-pound guy, it's just not happening?
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and if you try if you try, it's not gonna end very good. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so then from there, getting back into it, what got you back into strongman? Because you got exposed to it actually pretty young, find out, but what got you back into it?
Um, Honestly, after like 6 months or maybe a little more back to powerlifting training, I got bored of just doing free lifts for a
Yeah,
max pretty quickly. Yeah.
yeah,
and I was missing the other aspects of like physical preparedness. I was missing some heavy breathing,
Mhm.
some speed strength, some dynamic stuff. I was just missing other aspects where you could challenge yourself.
Sure.
And then I just signed up for fun for one of these workshops again. That this guy he still offers them, I think, where you go on a Sunday and just test some equipment he wants to show you. And yeah, after I went to the workshop, I he convinced me to sign up for a newcomer competition here in Switzerland, the federation, and I did a little preparation for that. And yeah, I went there, and after the first competition, I was really hooked, you could say. Yeah.
How did that first contest go?
It was a newcomer competition in Switzerland. It's mostly powerlifters trying strongman there. We have Switzerland 90 kilo class, so we don't have an 80s class.
Mhm.
90, 105, and opens. And it was actually quite a big field. I think we were 15 or maybe 17 athletes in tested on 5 events. And actually, the guy that won this competition was the 2022 world champion, Benjamin Donnen.
Really?
Yeah. My
Well, how
first
was
ever
he
competition.
how was
He's
he
from,
there?
oh, he was probably the same, well, maybe a little bit more experienced level than me on strongman, but he was so dominating, of
But
course.
was it I thought it was just in Switzerland. How he's from France. How is he there?
Yeah. Well, Switzerland borders France and well, our west borders France east.
Yeah.
So, and it was on right at the border, the competition.
So this contest okay, so this contest wasn't like it was, just to Switzerland. It wasn't just allowed for Switzerland, like, people could come
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
it could come
yeah,
from over okay. Well,
yeah.
boy, that's not much of a beginner contest if you're letting people come from other countries.
Yeah, well, it's just called newcomer competition.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, anyone can enter. They don't check anything about. You can just sign up, and the weights are released in the events. And you can just sign up, and yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
okay, so Ben Donnan,
yeah.
that's pretty funny. He's a great guy. He is so
Oh yeah,
strong too.
oh yeah,
I'd love to have him on one of these interviews, but, um, I can't speak, French and he doesn't speak English very well,
yeah.
so
His English is not too good. Yeah.
no, your English is great.
Thanks, thanks.
Yeah, it's very good. So your first contest, Benjamin Donnan wins, shocker, and then,
Yeah.
what place did you get out of that?
I came second, actually, right
Really?
behind him. Yeah,
Okay, so you were good from the start, which I'm not taking away from you. You said you had to work hard, but to do your first contest and get second place, that's great position.
yeah. I mean, there was like a stone medley,
Mhm.
a yoke, a loading race, a dumbbell for reps, and a deadlift max.
How did you do stone and dumbbell? I mean, you hadn't been training very long at all. How did you do that?
Stones I just did in that workshop. I
Okay.
didn't train that at home or anywhere. Deadlift I've been training
For it, yeah.
always.
Yeah.
Yoke I did once in a strongman gym near my home where you have a yoke. But
Plenty of
yeah,
time. One time and you're ready to go compete. You're good.
well, the level wasn't too high with the other competitors, I
Okay.
must say. But yeah, it was good competition. I really enjoyed it.
Well,
And
Benjamin Donnan was in there, so I think the level was pretty high.
well, he was the difference between me and him from first to second was huge. To be honest, yeah.
Well, anyway, that's great. That's a great first contest. So you did that, and after that, you said you got the bite. You were hooked.
Oh yeah, definitely. I did it in 2021, I think.
2021, okay.
Yeah, and after that, I I signed up for the other gym. I have a gym membership with this gym where it has strongman equipment. But the guy used to do strongman himself that owns that gym. It's like a 30-minute drive from where I
Okay.
live.
Okay.
And he doesn't do strongman anymore, and there's like no one there who trains it, but he's got the equipment, and I'm training there now for my
Okay.
events. Yeah, and then I just, well, my next comp was only the next year because there was nowhere to sign up anymore in 2021, and I just did the Swiss comps, one in France next year, 2022, and I just signed up wherever I could that was in reach, and I went there. Yeah.
Very good. So after that contest, you got a good place to train. I'm sure you started making improvements extremely fast just from learning how to do the like certain implements like a dumbbell or stones or yoke. You started getting comfortable because you're able to train it a bunch more.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah,
especially moving with weight, got much
yeah,
more comfortable
yeah.
very quickly. Like all these sandbags and kegs and farmers, all that kind of stuff. When I first really could start to get used to the equipment, not just having the exposure from a workshop or only the competition,
Yeah.
yeah, I made some good improvement.
Yeah, it makes a
Also
big.
later then in the next year, competing a lot. That also
Okay.
really helped. Yeah.
Okay. So you say you competed a lot. How many times did you compete the next year?
2022, I did the 3 Swiss competitions. I did 2 in Germany, 1 in France, and I think 1 more like fun powerlifting comp in Switzerland. So like
And then
7, I think 7 comps.
yeah. Wow, that's a lot.
Not too much, but for like in our region, there's not too many options. Yeah,
That's a
in
lot. I've never competed that many times in a year. That's a lot.
yeah,
That's very good. So you got better pretty quick. That puts you kind of on the fast track to getting comfortable in competition.
yeah, exactly. That was
Yeah.
my goal then.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you're going on and you're doing that. And then how did you first get into OSG?
Well, I've the Benjamin Donnen.
Mhm.
I I saw on his Instagram, or I don't know how I got the information, but I saw that he qualified in it was his first year, 2021, in strongman, like for myself, and I saw that he qualified for OSG, and that was my first real exposure um, to OSG. I saw that there's also an 80-kilo weight class. I didn't even know that,
Mhm.
and then I saw the 90s and the 105s. And of course, I was watching competitions already on YouTube and stuff,
Mhm.
like older ones,
Sure.
old World's Strongest Man competitions, but mainly just from the open weight class.
Yeah.
And I didn't because I didn't look it up or specifically or just didn't have an idea that there's big competitions out there for weight classes.
So when you found out about OSG, uh, through Benjamin Donnan or wherever you saw that, did you kind of think, man, okay, I want to be able to make it to the world stage in this weight class? Was that like was that your goal, or did you take a little time and think about it?
Um, I didn't really think too much about it until I then watched it live in
Okay.
2021,
Yeah.
end of the year, and I think Ben placed like mid-table, maybe he took
Yeah.
20th place in his first year,
Mhm.
and I was like, okay, wow, they're good. Like I was, I was really impressed with, of course, 80 kilo. I was already in that weight class.
Mhm.
I was not quite the body weight I am now, maybe with a little bit different body composition, bit more body fat, possibly. But yeah, and I was really impressed, especially because I saw Ben Donnen and he was so much better than me.
Mhm.
earlier that year in 2021 in the summer, and then him getting beat by 20 other guys from around the world, and with sometimes by a big margin.
Mhm.
I was really impressed. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it wasn't even the first thing on my mind that, oh, I want to be there and I want to go there. It was just like, oh, I've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah. I I
Yeah,
I, sometimes when you see people's numbers that they do in the gym or this or that, it doesn't always it doesn't, translate to the contest. I told you that the
oh
same
yeah,
thing. I said about, log press. I said, "Doesn't matter." I said, "I have to hit what I can hit in the gym here." If you don't hit it there, it doesn't matter. So when I
yeah,
first went into OSG in 2022, I, uh, I kinda tried to have that mindset, but when, Dean McVie and Ricky Panganaban, when they both walked by me and I saw that much muscle on a frame that size, I was like, "There's levels to this. There is definitely levels to this, and I am outclassed this year. There's no doubt." And, of course, they ended up going on and doing great. I think Ricky got 2nd, Dean got 3rd, and Ben won that year. So
oh yeah.
they were top notch on that deal. But I wanted to ask you, Jonas, with not many people around you doing that sport, I guess it would be easy to look at what you were doing and say that you think you're doing really good because nobody around you is doing it as much. But did you get kind of like did you watch um these other guys like Ben Don and people like that? And is that where you push to keep lifting? Because if you say you're deadlifting 500 pounds and nobody else around you, they're deadlifting 400, 450, and then you wouldn't really push as hard to think about going into the sixes or sevens if nobody around you is pushing. Were you watching other people trying to push and keep getting better, I guess?
Um, yeah, but not too much, honestly. I wasn't really active on social media or anything. It
Yeah.
was only just about, yeah, after this OSG that I got my personal Instagram account.
Yeah.
Before I didn't have one, yeah. And I just looked at the results from OSG and kind of checked what the standards are over there. And of course, I knew what the standards are in the competitions I already entered, the
Sure.
90 kg class. And I just wanted to improve myself. And I I tried to get always a little bit better, not just with my training, but with all the factors surrounding my training.
Yeah.
Every year, I think I'm starting to add more variables,
Yeah.
or how do I put it? Um, yeah, just add more assets to my training and my all around life that can make me better as an athlete.
Yeah. It every To get better every year, it gets just a little it's like manipulating. It's like you have to do something, you have to find a different angle. But what made you better one year might not necessarily be the same thing that'll make you better the next year because your body might adapt to that, learn that. It has to constantly keep changing. Or the amount of sleep that you got, a year before, well, that might not be enough sleep for getting better the next year versus I mean, there's all kinds of stuff like that. As the weights get heavier, it gets crazier and crazier. Like this year, that 640-pound axle. I like okay to be able to hit that and hit it for 2 reps, which you did too, did you not?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that to me is kind of mind blowing because back when I started, I mean, there was most people weren't hitting that even in shoot, the 90s, 105s, and even a lot of the open guys in contests I would go to. I mean, there was guys their whole career that never hit that on an axle bar, period. Um,
Mhm.
and to see the level of people keep getting better and go to that, like every year it's like I get better, but it's so frustrating because everybody else gets better too. The
Oh yeah.
goalpost, it just keeps getting moved away. You know, I don't know if you're familiar with that terminology, but American football, we have which I don't really care about football anymore, but we have goalposts and you kick a ball through it, you know, and the goalposts just keep getting moved farther and farther away. It gets harder and harder, even though you're trying to get better.
Oh yeah. I absolutely understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
and it sometimes really feels like that. Yeah.
It does.
Mm.
This year, I think last year, what bar did you pull last year when we did the deadlift medley?
Just a second. I failed on the third one. Yeah.
635. You what
Um.
first one was five. First one was 545, 585, and then 635.
Yes, I failed the 635
Okay.
last
So
year.
you failed the 635 in 2023 and come back and hit the 640 for 2 and it's an axle bar. That's like
Yeah.
you probably put you realistically you probably put 75 pounds on your deadlift this year.
Well, I think deadlift. I'm always kind of dissatisfied with my progress in the gym because I
Okay.
always feel like everyone's so strong on deadlifts and I'm not, or at least that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Well, of course, now this about this 240, 640 for two, I'm happy, of course, and it was like joint 12th, I think we were. Did the
Yeah.
same, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
joint 12th, and was a big improvement from last year, where I placed like 24th on the deadlift.
Yeah. Same.
Wait,
Yeah. You got yourself pretty much in top 10 in the world with deadlift now, pretty much. I mean, you know, oh, you could move it around where it's not quite, but it's just how repetitions go. And you always have outliers in deadlift, like people who are just way above everybody else. Like what Richard Monlar is
oh yeah,
I don't want to just pronounce his name wrong, but yeah, but I mean, I'm not taking anything away from that guy. That guy is super strong. I'm not, but he is built to conventional deadlift. Super
oh yeah.
long arms, super long legs, the shortest torso really I've ever seen on a person in his frame. I mean, he's got like 6 foot 6 foot arm length at least, but he's crazy. He's built for it. And I'm not
Oh yeah.
saying that he's not strong because he's very strong. His press is strong, everything else, but his press, his car yoke, things like that, which are really huge tests of strength too. He's not just like head and shoulders above everybody else the same way it is in the deadlift. Um, Deadlift is kind of one of those ones you could be a guy who's super strong squatter and a super strong shoulders, but that doesn't mean you're going to be a strong deadlifter, you know. You've got some guys
Mm.
that are some of the best deadlifters in the world were guys that were really pretty skinny and terrible squatters. It comes down to your leverage is so much on that. But that's the sport, you know. You try to manipulate your leverages and get as strong as you can and keep getting better, but you know, it is what it
Absolutely.
is. Yeah.
And that's why strongman's also great as the ultimate test of strength because
Yes.
it tests everything
Yep.
from your cardio to your overhead pulling, pushing,
Yep.
statics, and reps like stamina,
Yep.
everything really.
Yep. I agree. Because if somebody gets too far ahead with one thing, you can usually run them back down in something else.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Usually, and maybe not an OSG, but
Yeah,
yeah,
you can say that.
very good. So, okay, how did you qualify for OSG in 2023?
And through the online qualifiers,
Okay.
that's kind of a thing I think when you're a weight class athlete that's, or maybe even generally an athlete that's not from either the US or the UK, it's kind of pretty much one of the only ways to get in, really,
Okay.
because there's no qualifying competitions around you. There's like no nationals that's gonna get you to OSG.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's pretty much the only option for us. Yeah.
What were the qualifying events for that year? Do you remember? And what did you do?
Um, I think it was the max overhead, ground to
Okay.
overhead, any implement that you want.
Okay.
Then it was a deadlift 2 rep max
Yeah.
with a standard bar, and
Okay.
it was the max farmer's hold.
Okay. What did you
Yeah.
come up with on those numbers?
I think the max overhead, I just used the standard barbell, and I did. Um, I think it's in pounds. It's I think 290.
So you did one it's around 130 kilos in that range.
Yeah, a bit more than that. 132.
Okay, 132. Okay.
Yeah,
What?
something like that. And deadlift, I did 640 for a double, and the farmer's hold. How much is it? I think 390 per hand for this 5 second hold or what. I think
Yeah,
something
that
like that it was. Yeah.
how did that feel picking up?
Oh, that was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
That's
horrible.
yeah, that's really heavy. You did how much? 390?
Yeah, I think I hope it's the correct. I think it's 175 kilos per hand.
Yeah,
I think it's around
yeah, that's
390.
yeah, that's heavy. Holy cow. And you had to hold that for 5 seconds. Just getting that off the ground was an accomplishment with straps.
Yeah, it was that was the hardest part. Yeah,
Yeah.
getting it off the ground. But
So
also, I think the lift that got me qualified in the end. But it was kind of close. I was like seventh or eighth, and top 10 obviously get qualified. Yeah,
how in the world were you 7th and 8th with those numbers? A 640 deadlift is huge.
yeah. But already there was a lot of people over 300 or in that range for doubles getting in, and
Are you better on an axle or a deadlift bar?
um,
I mean, obviously you're gonna be better on a deadlift bar, I understand that, but, like, some
mhm.
people, it throws them way, way off. I mean, like you're saying there's people there doing whatever. This year, it wasn't that way, and they did the axle bar, it brought it way back down on some people.
Oh yeah, no, obviously yeah. As you said, I pull more on the deadlift bar, but compared to others, I probably do better on the axle because
Yeah.
the difference is not that big. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably because 'cause you're not getting a ton out of, all your leverages and, like, your biomechanics the same way. Some people gets perfectly set, and then they pull that slack out of the bar, and they get everything, and it changes, but if they can't be in that and they just start pulling, that axle bar does not move for about a second or
Oh
2.
yeah.
You pull and that's it, that's
Yeah.
how it is, it's glued.
Exactly.
Yeah, but okay, so you hit 640 for a double to qualify for OSG 2023, and then when you got there, you didn't even get to the 635 bar. What do you think
Mhm.
happened with that?
I think it was one. I think it's multiple factors influencing it because I said at the beginning I think that usually I do better in comp than I do in
Yeah,
training,
yeah,
but on this one I didn't put my suit too tight
okay,
because I wanted a good time. In my head, I thought I'd get a faster time because of that through the first three,
mhm,
if I can hit the third one.
sure,
And also I did a bigger diet before that comp,
yeah,
and I didn't have to do too much of a water cut because I was
mhm,
really unexperienced with that. So I dieted down to like I think 80 kilos is 176, right? Is
that's right,
that right?
yep,
And I was just like 4 pounds above 80 kilos, 4 or 5
okay,
pounds.
wow,
Yeah, compared to this year, now I was going into it being 190,
okay,
I think 86 kilos, 87.
yep,
Yeah, and statically, I feel every kilo that I'm heavier,
yeah,
honestly.
yeah, it's true,
And yeah, also then it was the second day, and I really struggled with eating because of the nerves and getting
yeah,
my food in, and so I didn't feel as strong and energized.
yeah,
So yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's the reasons.
yeah. See, that's the thing, though. One of those things, just having one of those things differently could be a game changer, especially at that level. Because it's not like you're just doing one event, but having multiple things, stack up against you. Before you know it, you can be off your best pretty far.
Hmm.
That's the
Exactly.
People don't realize that if people don't compete, it doesn't matter what sport it is. If you don't compete at a high level, you don't realize how little something can change everything, you know? I mean,
Oh yeah.
and that goes with winning or making top 10 too. I mean, you you this year, everything you did just one step better than me, one step better. This was just better. This was better. And when you stacked all that up, you made it to the finals. Same thing with Dylan. Dylan, he didn't take one bad step this year. Everything
Mhm.
he did, every foot he placed was in the right spot. His bad events, he he crushed his bad events. I mean, he made his bad events where he still was easily top 10, and that's why Dylan won. Dylan is a beast, but Dylan he put on a clinic. He did not make one he had no mistakes, no mistakes.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think this year we were so close to each other. I think in the end, for me placing, I think I was eighth after first four events, and then of course reworking the points, I was 10th.
Mhm.
But I think in between us there was just one rep on the log and
Yeah.
maybe 2 seconds in the medley.
Yeah.
And other
Yep.
than that, we were exactly
But
the same. Yeah.
but 2 seconds, it's like you said, 2 seconds could be, man, you could have 5, 6 people in between on that.
Oh
2
yeah.
sec 2 seconds is huge. It
Oh
really
yeah.
is. I mean,
Especially.
2 seconds in training, if we were training, it'd be like, "Oh, only 2 seconds, no problem." 2 seconds when you got 40 people gunning for it, that is huge. You could have so many places in between you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yep. On that, on that sled, that's what messed me up the worst. I got a slow pick on the sandbag, but I love the Husafelt this year. I've struggled with the Husafelt in years past, just scooping it and going. This year I was so strong. I came in on the Husafelt, no problem, and I was pick was perfect. But when I threw it in the sled, I threw everything to one side. I just wasn't paying
Ah,
attention. And when I pushed it,
yeah.
it just kept sliding up. I mean, I still pushed it. I won my heat, but it's slow. It's too
Yeah.
slow.
The
Fast,
margin of error on these kind of events, it's so you gotta be so careful
you
with
do,
everything. And
you
still
do.
on medleys, you need to have this certain kind of arousal,
Yeah,
I think. So like be aggressive, don't be afraid, but at the same time be careful with everything you do.
yeah.
It's really
You have to
hard.
be present in your mind.
Oh yeah.
Yep. On, on, how much more time you got, Jonas? I don't wanna mess you up here.
Oh, I'm not on a schedule today.
Okay.
I'm all good. Yeah.
Okay. On, the final, I hate not being in the final again, but sitting there watching you guys with the final was really fun, especially when you got to the wrecking ball hold. That was cool. And then you got it all set up on Instagram from official Strongman. They have it where you're sitting there going against Mason. That was pretty
Oh
epic.
yeah.
That was
Mason was
great.
amazing on that event.
He
He
was
was
great.
just,
Yeah, but where did you place in that event, Jonas?
I think, fourth place
That's what I
on that
thought.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, you did really, really good on that event. You did good on all the events, but you did very well on that event. You just hooked in and went.
Yeah, yeah.
Training,
And
how did you train for that? Just grip onto a barbell or what did you do?
honestly, I didn't really train the wrecking ball hold
Yeah.
because I have a duck handle,
Yep.
and but it was you couldn't really hold it in front of you because of the plates stacking up
Yeah.
all the time. And my prediction for myself for this for OSG on a good scenario was 12th place, 12th to 15th. I was predicting that, so I focused on the first four events.
Yeah.
Yeah, mainly. Well, I did train some throwing, but didn't help me in the end, but I did train it. and but yeah, I didn't really train it too much.
Yeah. Well, you did
Honestly.
great with it. You must have a really good grip. Well, did you hook you obviously hooked it really hard into your thighs. That's what that event is about, is just bearing
Mhm.
down and taking that load, because that's another thing. People kind of think that that's a lot of grip. It is some grip, but it's mainly your body. It's you're hooking it into your thighs. It's mainly your body just withstanding that weight for that amount of time.
Yeah, it's just getting your traps are feeling like they're pulling off, and your
Yeah,
lats, and
yeah,
just feel like you're slowly
yeah,
decompressing. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah. That was that was great watching you guys, because it was you, Mason, yeah, Mason, it was Dean, and then who was the fourth?
Steven was the fourth. Steven Coin.
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, watching it, Steven went down, then Dean went down, and then it was just you and Mason. That was awesome. People were going crazy over that. That was cool. And then
Yeah.
when you went down, Mason started standing there and he started smiling and winking to the camera and
Yeah.
everything else.
Yeah. He was. I I always like watching it back when I think Steven let go first after that Dean, and then the camera switches to me, and I'm like dying, letting go of it. Then the camera switches to Mason, and he just looks so comfortable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
I think Mason, my goodness, he was on fire this year. He came in just completely peaked. I mean,
oh yeah.
he looked great, and his conditioning was great too.
Mhm.
Like his conditioning, his GPP. I mean, he was just he looked, to be able to hold that weight for that long time too. You have to be in really good shape to be able to do that, and he was just comfortable.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. The stones. I don't know why, but I can't remember. Jonas, did you get the last stone or not?
No,
Okay.
no, I got the fifth one, and I
Yeah.
lapped the last one,
Yeah. That's what I thought.
and it felt really heavy on. Well, the fifth one already was kind of close.
Yeah.
The platform, of course, the last platform is the lowest,
Yeah.
but I lapped the last one, and then I hesitated with it on my lap
Mhm.
because I knew how hard the extension was on the fifth, and then the whistle blew,
Mhm.
and I
Okay.
dropped it. Yeah.
Okay. Now, had you loaded that stone in training?
Actually, in my gym, I only have a stone up to 250 pounds.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, so I just recently bought a mold, I think it's
Yep.
called, where
Yep.
you can do your own stone, and I will do that in January now. Yeah.
Oh, great. So now he's gonna come back and he's gonna load a 400 stone.
Well, I can start to train it more properly now,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
gosh. He's gonna come back he's gonna come back better again. No, that's good.
Hopefully.
That's good. That's very good. I'm telling you what, I wish I could have made it and done the stones as well too, because I actually I put in a lot of work on my stones this year, and I had a 335-pound stone made, and then I don't know what that is in kilos. That's
I think that's just over 150, right?
probably, and then I have a 366-pound stone, and that's 166 in kilos. So I
Oh,
got
yeah.
now that stone, I had never loaded that stone, but I loaded it 3 weeks before Worlds. I loaded that stone this year, and I never tried it. I've never done it yet,
Oh,
and I
wow.
hit that stone, and I did it to a 48-inch platform, I think.
48.
Yeah.
Oh, that's higher than the lowest at
Mhm.
OSG, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Damn, that's great.
I thought if I made it to the final, I was like, I think I could have had a good shot at doing the 350 stone, but, you know, it didn't play out that way. But I think I would have been able to hit. I don't know. Maybe I would have been hit it.
Yeah, based
Hey,
off 366. Yeah.
but it's like I said, when we were warming up with the log press, I told you, I think I forget, somebody asked me, or anyways, I said I did 300-pound log for the qualifier, and I did it for 2. I said, but that doesn't matter because it doesn't equal that I'd hit that there, And when I
Mm,
went out there and did my first log press and I hit it, I thought in my head immediately I was gonna hit 5 reps. As soon as I hit my first
yeah.
rep, I thought that. And then my second rep, I threw it up over my head and locked it, but it started to go forward, and I tried to run and catch it down, and I threw it off the pad, and then I had to
Whoa.
roll it
Yeah.
back, pick it back up, and I was gassed. I just literally I gassed it all out. By the time I cleaned that 3rd rep, the whistle was about to blow, so I threw it over my head and didn't catch it. So that just shows to show you, like we were talking about, a small mistake can just throw everything off, and one little thing
Yeah.
stacks up against a whole bunch of things. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. What's next for you, Jonas? Are you taking a good downtime now, or where are you going from there?
Definitely. Yeah. Doing some light training now,
Mhm.
especially taking a break from heavy event training. Like I'll do some event training just for my fitness and of course just keeping some dynamics strength
Sure,
stuff in. But
sure.
I'm taking it slowly now for at least one more month, I think, January.
Okay,
And then my next competition will be in Switzerland in May, I think, end of May. And then I hope that if it's still that top 10 at OSG is still qualified automatically for
you are.
Europe's and Worlds. Is
Yep.
it?
You
Okay.
definitely you're definitely qualified again for Worlds.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll definitely go to Worlds again and see what the events are and try my
Yep.
best. Yeah, the preparation and Europe's as well. If I'm not qualified automatically, I'll do the online qualifiers in
Sure,
April.
sure.
And
Okay.
yeah,
Well, it sounds like you got a pretty good season ahead of you now, so that ought to be good to go for.
yeah, let's see. I mean, I checked the scoreboard of OSG. I analyzed it really a lot. Like analyzed the loading race where I lost my points, where I
Yeah.
lost the time
Mhm.
compared to the guys who were really the best because I placed like 10th on that.
Sure.
And yeah, I think the static events are always easier to analyze. You just gotta get better. You
Yeah.
do one more rep, or
Yeah.
the loading and dynamic stuff sometimes is a little bit more complex.
It is. Yep.
Yeah,
You're right. But if you but also the cool thing about those events is they get better a lot easier if you just do them over and over again.
that's true. Yeah,
Yeah, like the
that's
static
totally true.
ones, a lot of times the static training, you could try to do more and more and more of it and beat yourself down, and you don't get better. You have to really take a different approach for those, but getting better
Yeah,
on a sandbag, you just need to play around with the sandbag and figure out the fastest, quickest way you can pick it up and run with.
exactly. Yeah, static events can be really frustrating
They
if you
can. I
don't
didn't
really
even
like
get
them.
to get into oh, I'll probably end this one here in a little bit, but we'll have to do a second one because I didn't get to get into any of your training and how you train and what your methodologies are and stuff like that. So we'll have to have you
Mhm.
back on for a part 2 and we'll get into more of those.
Sure, I'd love that. Yeah,
All right.
thank you
Well,
very much.
Jonas, I'm gonna close it out here, man. But is there anything you wanna finish out, say, or any other topic that I might have missed or
No, I just want to thank you very much for having me on. I really enjoyed talking with you, and I'll definitely be back for part two. Yeah.
that sounds good.
Mm.
Well, all right. As always, I'll have more episodes to come, not as fast or as frequent as I like to do, but I'd like to keep these interview series going. So make sure you give this video a like, subscribe, and share it. And as always, more content to come. Thanks.
Sure, will do. Thank you very much.